The Case for Depth Part 2. Hello, I'm Serena. I'm a content creator and also a strategic thinker and a commentator here on YouTube. This is going to be available on Serena's Playbook, my channel for strategic thinking, as well as my personal YouTube for my personal and holistic insights. So, Case for depth is because we're missing the substance, the quality, the meat in the sandwich. Sorry if you're vegan. The attention span thing. Let's talk about the attention span thing. It's honestly, I think it's not a personal failing. I think if you've got to give yourself a little bit of grace at first, I don't think it's a personal failing as much as it is manufactured. It's manufactured because there is no way we can enjoy and watch something from start to finish without the lure, the allure, the luring, the something that's dragging us into going to a second screen, or this awful thing called multitasking, or us having to pause. I'm neurodivergent and it's hard for me to sort of stay still for a long period of time watching something for like a whole hour unless it is super late in the evening and I have completed everything and I'm a bit wired and fried and I'm watching something that has subtitles and it's really compelling, because if it has subtitles, I have to stare at the screen. So maybe that's a trick. But honestly, the mechanics of algorithms is such that we've been trained to only stay around for a short period of time and then to do the rapid switch. And so it becomes a neurological, let's say, molding, and then it becomes repeated. And so, from a personal failing perspective, let's kind of cut ourselves some slack. But once you know, and once you realize that this is happening, what are you going to do about it? That's why I wanted to do this 3-part series, The Case for Depth. As a content creator, there are incentives because I'm hoping to cultivate online spaces where the audience is one that is seeking depth, that has the patience and has the retention to stick around. But we're all up against it, not just as consumers of content, also creators of content. We are having to be hyper competitive within this so-called attention economy space. And after producing more than 100 videos for Serena's Playbook, even more for my political and media commentary channel and other channels and other platforms in the past, I know this one thing, that once you have begun to create in a routine way and you are ever mindful of trends, of platform policies, of algorithmic patterns, you are either an instrument for the channel or for the platform, or you are aware that your ideation process is being influenced and impacted, and that you're going to have to do a little bit of work to try and have your original ideas, try and have your spontaneous creativity. As an audience, as the user, there's your personal experience, and you know what it feels like when you come off the treadmill of digital life and how you feel, and then you're back at it again. It's not a personal failing. It was designed this way. It's been manufactured this way. So what do we do about it? I don't think the solution can come from greater controls on devices, or let's say, when you do a digital cleanse, I think the only way around this is to build in as much analog, non-digital practices as you can. And that would be, always reading for 10 minutes in the morning, always reading for 10 minutes before bed, and it not being an electronic device. Try and make it something that is actually tangible paper book in your hand. I think the other way is to, we add technology to a lot that we do day to day, and we benefit from the productivity of it. But what do we lose in the process? Because we feel like I'm on a bouncy ball. That's what I sit on when I'm at my desk downstairs. But we are completely sold on the idea of speed, multitasking being productivity, being success. We lose so much in the process. We lose the divine and peaceful possibility of moment to moment present living, cooking without having something playing or having your phone anywhere near you or speaking to somebody. Sometimes I will walk past people who are on a walk, or they're traveling, or they're doing some kind of work, some kind of some activity, and the phone is either stuck to their ear with a hat or some device, or they are desperate to keep that conversation going while they attempt their routine. Going for a walk does not need a phone call unless there's a reason, like a real well-being reason to speak to somebody when you go for a walk. We should be able to completely disconnect as much as possible. I mean, I'm not having a talk while I walk with somebody, but I might have my kind of Apple Watch tracking stuff. But I'm still able to look at the sky. I'm not getting dragged into a conversation. I'm not distracted. I'm present. I'm with my breath. I'm able to reflect. Your best even business decisions, if you're a business person or somebody who works a lot or it's high pressured work and you're a decision maker, your best decisions, your best insights come when you have space. And if you don't have that space because you think always being on this device, or giving into this way that you've been manufactured neurologically is winning, then you're going against your core nature. Our core nature is not for this kind of living. That's why I wanted to do this case for depth, about going deep and putting some practices in place. Are there any practices that you could put into place today, this week, with your daily routine? Because what are you losing as a result of not doing that? We get really comfortable with how things are, with the status quo, and we become so reliant on our devices that even the effort that we make is sort of kind of quite piecemeal. So how can you make a real splash? If you can introduce, why are we not reading more? Why are we not painting more? Why are we not puzzling more? Why does it only happen on a special occasion? Imagine if after dinner at the table there were no devices, and before you retire to the sofa, you sit at a table and just decide to do a puzzle or a jigsaw or just something with your loved ones. And that's just how you spend your evenings. People do it, lots don't, because we want to watch our Netflix shows. And decompression feels different and personal to a lot of people. So these are just ideas, but I think we have to start having these sort of really serious conversations. It's not as simple as just doing a digital cleanse. It's not as simple as just having controlled time or setting up controls on your social media apps. We have to sort of significantly change how we live day to day, how we think day to day, how we work day to day, how we approach our art, creativity, content creation. And it's why I decided to do the 21-day brand comms lecture series for creators, for brand owners, for entrepreneurs, because I thought I don't have the patience and focus for these super highly edited, punchy videos. That's my personal experience. And some of the feedback I'm getting so far is that the longer form, reflective, more substancy content pieces are striking more of a chord. I don't want to jump through stuff. I want to soak it all up. And, what's your toxic trait? My toxic trait is I love watching prime ministers' questions and I love hearing them go back and forth at each other. Have I surprised you? I don't think I have, especially if you've come from my media and politics channel. It's been lovely to have your time and attention. Tune in for part 3.